Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Chair Yoga and Meditation. We'll begin our transitional time in the chair, sitting down and coming into the usual routine of adjustments. So you're coming forward on your chair, you're putting the block between your legs. So you begin that process, and I'll start to set the stage here. We're going to be more active today. We've had some more restorative practices because of the heat. It's a little better. I think I'm going to take a stab at a little more activity today. Hope you enjoy it. But we'll start with the seated position where we just use this time to transition and to change gears, to bring ourselves into the awareness of what we're doing, what we're about to embark on for ourselves. This becomes an entry point for self-reflection, or certainly at least changing your point of view from external to internal. Closing the eyes helps with that. So as you begin, you want to make sure you are using good posture. So you've brought your full awareness into your body and how you're holding yourself. And that you want to use really good posture. And all of you have been doing this long enough that you know what good posture feels like, what right alignment feels like in the body. So we're going to begin our transition with a particular breath practice, as I've often used because of its help, how much it helps us to become more aware of our body, more aware of our breath, because we're breathing differently. We're using a particular way to breathe that takes our focus. We need to pay attention to it so that we can participate in it. So that's a diaphragmatic breath. That's the kind of breathing that allows you to have awareness of your diaphragm muscle, which is kind of at the base of your rib cage. That's kind of where that's located. It's a big muscle. It's kind of the primary muscle of the respiratory system. The practice of diaphragmatic breathing that I have been taught and that I utilize is the three-part breathing, that the breath starts low in the belly. You feel a little move of your belly expanding. And then on the second part of the breath, that's probably the biggest emphasis in terms of the diaphragm, is that you've risen to the level of the diaphragm and you're, again, expanding more and finally lifting that breath up to the very top of the sternum. And then the exhale comes out slowly through the mouth, not a big not a push, but a slow exhalation through the mouth till it's completely emptied. So it's a very mindful and long exhalation process. And it's a very mindful step-by-step process of expansion for the inhale process. Now, I often use my hands on my body mainly to illustrate for you. You don't have to do it that way. You certainly may. But I'm going to begin now inhaling low belly, inhaling even more at the diaphragm area. Inhale finally at the top of the sternum, exhaling out the mouth. So begin your process. Inhale more, even more. Exhale out of the mouth by blowing it out slowly and completely. Expanding the diaphragm is kind of our main priority here, being aware of that. So there's lots of movement on the inhale. Takes 3 breaths, kind of 3 inhalation process to complete it. Now stay with me. Eyes are still closed. Instead of using 3 parts, take it all in one breath, but it still rises like the elevator. Inhaling, and you're just aware, you're using your imagination and your intention. You're aware of the rise to the top of the sternum, and then you exhale it out the same way you have been doing. But instead of drawing 3 times to make that inhale that complete, see if you can now do that all together, a big inhalation as it rises up to the top of the sternum, and then we exhale it all the way out. So you can feel how your lungs have expanded, the whole chest cavity is more expansive. One more like that. And then again, eyes stays closed, but just let your breath return now to what you would consider a normal rhythm of breathing. Feels good to you, feels natural, and you're very keenly aware of the breath in and the breath out, the breath coming in, the breath going out. Let's turn our hands now in that mudra of receptivity. So we lay our hands on our lap, our palms are facing up, gesture or mudra of receiving. Note it and just taking that into account that you are open to receive the benefits and the blessings of this practice. And checking in personally for yourself personally, what do you need from this practice today? Have that inner dialogue. And remember, we're always encouraging one another for kindness about that inner dialogue. We all have it each day, all the time, where we're talking to ourselves. But too often we veer off into a self-talk that is that's critical or not kind, harsh sometimes, very, very much so. We can get into that. But not here, not now. We're going to apply an extra dose of kindness as we inquire within, well, what do I need? What do I need? Layer your hands on your sternum. So one hand comes to the chest and then the other hand lays right on top of that first hand. And we're now locating ourselves in the heart center. So just kind of consciously bring yourself into the awareness of breathing happening right under your hands. You can definitely feel a rise and fall. So just imagine that the breathing process, you're holding on to it. You're touching this breath with your hands. And feel how nurturing that can be. You hold yourself gently in that way through this breath right there at the heart. Maybe to remind us to become more heart-minded today. That all of the processes that come through our thinking, that we process it as a heart mind today. Beautiful. Let's finish the breath we're on. Flutter your eyes open. Oh, and hey, see, I'm so accustomed to, we're going to begin standing up. So I just want to come back, if you don't mind standing up at your space. You just need to have maybe wherever you want to locate yourself in relation to your chair. Maybe you prefer always to be able to touch it. So just locate yourself near your chair in the way that is supportive for you. And I want to start by just shaking the body, just shaking. I've taken to sort of jumping, but you can keep the balls of your feet down and your heels kind of pop up. That's one way to do it. Might feel a little more secure. And like I said, if you feel better with this, if you had a hand on the chair, absolutely. So it's just a shaking. Let's just drop everything we've been cluttered by, anything that needs to just, you want to start fresh. It's like, let's just clean the slate and start fresh in the body by just shaking it out. So this has a very physical benefit in terms of the lymphatic system. So, I mean, if you're looking for a way to process this, we're creating some movement through the lymphatic system to release all of that needs to go. We're helping out our immune system in that way. So I want you to start flip-flopping your arms. I'm going to take a wider stance, see if that works for you. So that you're making contact with your body. Those arms aren't just sailing around in the air, but you're kind of flapping them into your body. This is all continues to be a part of that lymphatic drainage. Notice your breath. Just notice how you're breathing and that you are breathing. Good, 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 good. Similar stance, take your feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. Now we're going to twist towards your left. You're going to twist toward your left. So you want to take your left foot to step out and then open into a T. So it's going to look like this. We start with hands together. We move the foot in the direction that we're going to turn. So it's just one foot that does that. See if you can find that just to get the rhythm of it. And we'll switch feet, switch the direction that we're turning. Palms together right out front, and then we open into a T. So I want you to alternate every time from one side to the other and find a rhythm with your breath to support it. Your arms are always held at shoulder height, so don't let them droop. And they're strong, fully extended. And you're just turning your foot in the direction that you are turning your body. Only one foot has to do the turn at a time, only one foot at a time, while the other one just maintains its neutral position. A couple more. Wide open. What's your breath doing? Let's do one more twist on each side. This is a standing twist. Keep your feet as they are. Let's release the arms nice and easy so you can feel the letting go. And we're going to do a side bend, arm right up alongside your head. It's extended fully. It feels like it's as straight as you can do it. Slide your hand down your pant leg to accomplish this side bend. And make sure you're paying attention to your weight of your head. I've always said manage the weight of your head. And my reference point is, what are my ears? Where are my ears facing? That's been really useful for me. Deepen the breath. See if there's anything you need to relax. You know, you don't want to have tightness in your shoulders gripping in towards your neck. That's the one area that might have gripped. So look, check out through your body if there's any gripping going on that you could release. Let gravity help you with this. You're surrendering to gravity's pull. Now, that hand that's touching the leg is going to reach up to sort of match, to be parallel to that extended arm overhead. That's it. Now bring yourself all the way up. Palms will be together. Inhaling, exhale, bow at our heart. Inhale up, exhale down and around. We're going to glide this new hand alongside our leg and want to extend the other arm up real close to your head, straight arm. Glide your hand down your pant leg, right, like alongside the seam. New side, new experience. Connect with your breath. Take it easy. Let's make sure we have a softness of the knee. I hope you did that the first time. It didn't occur to me to mention it, but you don't want to lock your knees here. Let's deepen the breath, surrendering, surrendering. Managing the weight of our head. Now let's get that other arm to come parallel to our other extended arm. Yep. Let's soften the knees quite a bit coming up. Palms together overhead, inhale. Exhale here at the heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Let's finish it up with just a little more of that swinging action side to side where you're making contact with your body. You can feel the buoyancy of your knees. So, you know, definitely wouldn't want locked knees in this position here. Just sway. You can't do it wrong. You're just loosening up. All right, that's a great warm-up. Let's come into our seated position now. So back to the chair, back to the block. Make sure you feel like you have your legs in a right angle. So the knees are right above your ankles, right above your heels, and your feet are parallel to each other. I think you got to check. You can't trust that. You got to look. Let's start with some shoulder rolls. So we're going to start getting into we kind of loosened up our shoulders in some of the stuff we did standing up. So they should be warmed up pretty well. So let's see about that. See if you can move freely through your shoulders, and you're noticing if your shoulder blades need any more loosening up. Stay with that. And if your head needs to move while you're moving your shoulders, just let that be. Let your head move the way it just seems to want to do. Deepen your breath and notice the breath. Breath is coming out of the mouth. That's a cooling, just reminding you that's a cooling effect. So if that's what you find yourself doing, you can trust that. Let's change the direction now. So now the shoulder blades are separating, they're spreading apart. I've got my arms alongside the frame of the chair. That, in my view, is the little more challenging version of it. And now I want to squeeze and release. So you're going to scrunch them up and release all that. Scrunch the shoulders and hold, and then release it. So at your own pace, squeeze and release. Let your exhale kind of help you out, like, ha. It kind of helps you feel the release process. Squeeze and release. One more time. Now we're going to do it really fast. Squeeze and release. You're just moving. And you're going to let your breath take care of itself. Don't even worry about where you're inhaling and exhaling, because you're squeezing and releasing, and your body's going to figure it out. Yeah. Keep doing it. Okay, and then release all that. Oh man. So that loosens up all of that trapezius muscle. So that's this huge muscle that is spread like a cape. And so you got into that pretty well. Beautiful job. All right, let's move through our cow and our cat. We're going to start slowly. Arms are alongside the frame of the chair, pulling the arms back, keeping your arms very close to the chair's frame. Chest, chest, chest. So you're expanding through here. You can feel an arch of your back body. You can feel an exaggerated lumbar curve. Low back is in an exaggerated curve. Head is neutral. Let's breathe and pattern that for ourselves. We're going to practice the cat pose as well, but we're going to start with the tail. So tuck the tail first. In other words, you're getting rid of the lumbar curve that you just created. You're taking that right out of the picture, rounding through the low back and rounding through the midsection of your back body. Squeeze the block and employ the belly button pulling in. So that's going to activate this whole Mula Bandha perineum strengthening activity that we're so familiar with. So just practice. You're breathing in and out, of course. You're just practicing, holding, and reminding yourself how this works. But we do it as a vinyasa. So inhale, your inhale is going to take you into the cow pose. Your exhale, a lot of work to do, is taking you into the cat. So rounding through the low back, squeezing the block, and using the Mula Bandha. Your pace. So you got time to do it all. Arch of the back, very expansive. And then we round, tuck, pull the belly button in. Takes a long exhale. Keep going. Okay, count out 3 more. That means you have to do both poses 3 more times. When you finish your count of 3, come into a neutral position. Arms are alongside the frame of the chair, palms facing forward. Push your feet down into the floor. You can feel how your legs are much more engaged because of your effort to push your feet down and make an imprint with those feet. Let's lift one arm at a time. It's a straight arm and it's real close to the head. Put a mitten hand on and then let the palm face forward so we have some direction about that, some intentionality about it. We're going to switch. We're going to move by switching arms. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That kind of pattern, that kind of vinyasa. So remember, you're setting your pace. So there's no obligation to match my pace or anybody in your that's practicing with you. You're matching the pace of your breath. That's always true. I always tell you that. I want you to just remind yourself time and time again, because we can get kind of pulled into the group think, if you will, the group movement, and think we're supposed to keep up with that, but we don't. We don't want to. We don't need to, I should say. Let's get both arms up. Palms come together. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up. When we come down from that, let's meet in a T shape where you're pressing. It's like you're trying to press your palms into the walls around you. So very flexed wrists. Push, spread your fingers apart. Lean yourself back into our imaginary wall. And you continue to stretch through those extended arms and pushing out through your hands. Big stretch for your wrists. Flip your hands so palms face up, thumbs are pointing behind you. Smooth out your breath. Take a diagonal line. So you're going to just flip your hands so palms face forward, and you're going to create a diagonal extension of your arms. Now you got to check that out. Make sure your arms are in a single plane. Usually it's the lower arm that has a tendency to be too far back, just a tip. But you can figure it out. Check it out by looking. Are your arms in a single plane? We're going to start by looking at the hand that's reaching down. So we're turning our gaze, turning the head, and turning our eyes to look at the hand that's reaching down. Now deepen your breath. Sit up real tall. Feel good about how your spine is well aligned. You're lifting yourself up, squeezing the block just a bit. And then pay attention to the sensation you're experiencing. For example, what's your neck feel like? Keep your arms extended this way. Change how you're looking. So I want you to drag your your chin past your chest. So it's coming through center and then finally turning to look up to the hand that's reaching up. Deepen the breath. Head comes to neutral, so you're just turning your head back. Let's bend the elbows into that cactus-like position. And let that help us enter into the new side of our diagonal line. So take a look, make sure your arms are in a single plane. Once again, we're going to start by looking at the hand that's reaching down. Deepen your breath so you can feel it in the neck, in your shoulders. Remember, we don't want to crowd our shoulders up toward our ears. So there should be lots of space around the neck. We're going to use the same technique as we drag our chin through center. We're going to bow, our head is kind of bowed, and then we lift the chin and look toward the other hand that's reaching up. Feel it in your neck, make your adjustments in your body. Maybe your shoulder blades need to be repositioned. That's what I had to do. Smooth out the breath. Nice, easy breath. And head turns back to neutral. And once again, we're going to find that posture of the kind of the goddess is what I like to shape it. It looks like a goalpost. Inhale looks like that. Exhale, close it in. And let's drop into the scarecrow. So we've got our elbows bent, and we're going to just release that because I actually want to get rid of the block. Let's take a little wider stance. Heels are in, toes are out. Back here we go. Make sure you're balanced in your pelvis. Squirm around a little bit so you feel like you're sitting well. You're not leaning into one butt cheek more than the other. You're sitting well. You feel balanced. And you're far enough forward on the chair so that you're able to move your legs, because we're going to do a little open and close. Inhale, open, and we're in our goddess position. Then we close it. It's like we're putting her to sleep. Open her, wake her up, and then exhale, close it. Last time. Close it up. Keep your arms, keep your legs the same position, drawn together, and release your arms back to a neutral position. Let's try opening, closing. You're kind of moving through your fingers like you're playing the piano, moving your hands around so your wrists are loosening up. Let's see if we can do a twist like this. Rather than squeeze the block, we're going to squeeze ourselves, squeeze into midline. Think about that. Imagine this midline energy track that exists in your body, and you're just trying to draw yourself into that center for more power. So let's take our arms up and just take a side, doesn't matter which side you turn toward, using the chair or not to support your twist. Very upright, very axial. I heard a teacher use that word and I thought, oh, that's classy. Very upright with your spine. And we want a full breath in and a full breath out because that's going to help you feel it all. You got a little short, choppy breath, you won't feel it as well. You won't know what needs to be adjusted or what needs to be celebrated in this posture. Pay attention in case there's an opening, that green light that shows up sometimes. Keep your body in the twist. Let's just turn our head to come out of the twist. Then the arms and shoulders were coming up and over to the other side, side two. Feel what this side needs. It might be a little bit different in terms of the support. Very upright with your spine, balance in your pelvis, just reminding you, if you feel like, oh man, I'm really leaning into one side here, we want to try to balance that out, try to even it out. Even if it's not perfect, you're trying to even that out, and that's going to count. That's going to make a difference. Full breath in, full breath out, feeling the rhythm return in your twist. Really paying attention to the sensation you're experiencing. And if there's an invitation to deepen it today. Exhale completely. Let's take our head out of the twist and then our shoulders and our arms. And we're going to take a wide stance now. Heels in, toes out, wide stance. Let's loosen up around the pelvis. So let's do our little hula hoop here. So you're loosening all the muscles that attach into the pelvic bowl. Change the direction of that circular movement. Just keep kind of doing that. You're just loosening it up. So moving in one direction and then the other as you see fit. Loosening up. So you got to really emphasize the movement. Don't get lazy about it. Hands are going to stay on your thighs. And I want you to drop a shoulder toward its opposite knee. So it takes a fold. Now, it's not nearly touching it or coming even close to it. It just tells you the direction you're going. Your shoulder toward the opposite knee. I find my elbows just go out like this. So I'm just going to introduce that to you, that as you're doing it, maybe you want to hold your arms out so it kind of gives you better access. Or you certainly don't want to try to suppress it, I guess is my main thing. If you think you're moving your arms and is that right or is that okay? Sure. Can you feel the twisting action in the trunk of your body? It's a fold and a twist combined, so lots of benefits. Pay attention to the rhythm of your breath. Notice that you're breathing, I guess. Last time on each side, feels like you've evened it out. Take a forward fold now with me. Let's take a fold right through the center. Shoulders and arms are in between your legs. Eyes are open and you're looking down and underneath the chair. And you can feel how your belly is compressed. And I want you to breathe into that compression. So you're moving your belly as you breathe on purpose. Now, I don't want to be too long. So get your breath into the belly and start wandering both your arms over towards your right leg. And then so you end up framing the foot. You got one hand on one side of the foot and the other hand's on the other. So your hands have framed your foot, and that's how you're holding this, folding into one leg at a time. Now pay attention to the weight of your head. How you're managing that is up to you, but just notice that you've got to manage it. Okay, we're wandering. We're moving over to the other side. Same thing. We're going to frame that foot with a hand on each side of the foot, and we're folding ourselves into this new leg, into this thigh, managing the weight of the head. Now, my head is quite lifted. I'm not trying to look under the chair at all. I've just lifted it up. Back to center. One hand at a time comes to your thighs. Squeeze your elbows into your waist. Bring yourself halfway up into that half lift so you're in a diagonal line of the back body. Tuck your chin, kind of bring your chin in towards your throat a little bit so you feel better aligned in the spine. And you can really feel how your body weight is in your legs. And you're going to emphasize that. You're kind of pushing your body weight into your legs, push your feet down. That always helps. And then, of course, we're going to spread our wings. So now we're utilizing the strength of our legs entirely. We have no more bracket of support for the upper body. So your upper body is in being held by your legs. Beautiful. Keep breathing. Push into the feet. Let your arms come on up. Palms will be together. Meet me in this goddess position. Inhale and close it on our exhale. So if you have to shimmy, I surely had to shimmy a little bit to get positioned back in my chair seat so I can move. Inhale, exhale. Good. Let's meet in the open position. Relax your arms down and circle it out like a reset. We're going to use this circular movement like a reset in the body, catching up with the breath, loosening up around the pelvis. All right, let's get our legs more hips distance apart, and I want to move right into a figure 4. So make sure the standing leg is well positioned, knee over ankle, and it's centered. Let's massage it out. Help it. The initial response for most of us is resistance, and we're trying to calm all that down with our massaging. Hold on to your shin when you're ready. Make sure, I guess I want to remind you to include your toes in your feet when you're doing your massaging. And when you're ready, elbows in, we're going to just rock forward and back. So think about your sit bones, your 2 sit bones in your pelvis, that you're rocking on that. You're rocking on your sit bones. And that if you're looking for direction, I know you know this, but it's your chest bone that's moving. It's not your face that's pulling you forward and back. It's not your head. You're rocking on your pelvis, and your chest is helping you facilitate that rocking action. Your head just gets to come along for the ride. And so, of course, we've got to notice what we're experiencing with this. What's the felt experience? Our ability to rock on our pelvis has no consequence if we're not feeling it, if we're not noticing where we are in the musculature, or even in the contact with our bony structure. How does that feel? That's where healing happens. It's in that felt experience. Okay, when we come forward in our rocking position, we're going to go into a cradle the baby. So you got to kind of fold yourself down to get a hold of your leg. Maybe you can get your elbows to hold your foot and your knee. I can do it on this side pretty well, so I'm going to try that. And then we're rocking. That's the cradling part. We're going to see about the sensation here. But remember, you don't have to hold your arms in any particular. You get them up there. You get your leg up there and hold your body upright. That's the main thing. So you're not all hunched down trying to get some particular way. Let's keep ourselves upright and cradle the baby that way. Spread the toes of that foot, so that's putting more muscle engagement whenever we flex like that. See if you can go a little wider, a little more off off the road, if you will. So it's a little more nonlinear. It's just kind of more expressive. You're just looking for sensation all around. When we come out of that, we're going to just bend the knee and hold by the shin and sit real tall, hugging the knee into the chest. Extend it straight out, bend it again, and let's set it up for the other side. So any squirming around you need, we're going to move into figure 4 here. You're pulling your heel in toward that crease. You, of course, have to massage it. Standing leg matters, knee over ankle, all that still applies. So you can hold yourself up and you've got a great structure to do it. You know, your sit bones are grounded, you know, the structure is there to hold it, to be able to sustain it. All right, we're going to start our rocking on our sit bones. So holding on to the shin, elbows are in. See if you can locate your sit bones. And I'm just saying, this is my tight side. And so it feels different than it does. It's not such an easy access. I don't immediately feel it like that. I got to really, you know, stay with the awareness. There it is, a little deeper, a little better experience, because sometimes it's not great. It feels like a lot of work and you feel like you're not you're not breathing well. All that stuff shows up. But we gotta just wait on it, see what we can do. New side, new patterns that we're up against, the way we hold our body. All right, we're going to cradle this baby. So you fold forward to scoop up your leg, however you're going to do it. But remember, we want to get ourselves back upright. We don't want to huddle over. So then we're going to start cradling. Try pushing the foot on the floor. Just give it a little push so you know it's there. You know you've got a bracket of support. I call it a scaffold of support. Cradling and then getting more expressive. You might have already gone there. Great. You're getting bigger and with the movement, and you're feeling it, and you're breathing it. Excellent. Let's come back to center, and then we're going to just bend the knee and grab by the shin, hugging knee into chest. This is called hug your knee into your chest. Flex that foot, real tall with your spine. Straighten the leg out, bend the knee again, and back to center. Let's get our block, because it's just a great way to discipline ourselves. We're going to push ourselves out of the chair using no arms, even, you know, to the extent maybe you wrap your hands around your arms, so you just are really conscious of the fact that you're doing this with the strength of your core. Right, let's stand and hold that and find mountain pose. I'm going to move my block to down between my shins, your choice about where you put it. Let's get real strong in the belly wall, and notice when you pull in your belly how what it changes in your pelvis. It drops your tailbone. So pull that belly in, and that will stabilize your low back for you. Get a little bend for your knee. We're going to be here just a minute. So you can just find your breath, deepen the breath, maybe feel a full body experience of breath, but we won't be here long. We got stuff to do. Settle in. Full breath in. Full breath goes out. Let's open the eyes. Inhale with me, palms together overhead. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up. Exhale, take our backstroke all the way down. The block can be put to the side. We're going to use our chair as a support for our movement. So I'm going to stand near this chair in this way. You may not ever touch the chair. When we get moving here, you may not ever touch it, but it's there if you need it. So I want you to start by walking in place. It's almost like marching. So I want you, let's go with, walk, 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 walk. I want you to say that to yourself. You're walk, finding your pace. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm talking about here. Arms are moving, legs are moving. And if you have to make an adjustment, your body is saying, so you might not do so much arm movement, or you might do more arm movement and the legs are kind of secondary. Those are the kinds of adjustments you make for yourself. Walk, 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 walk. Now we got to find our breath. Just noticing it, just that we're breathing, that's all. Now we're going to take a side step, go out and back. And when we come back, we even drop our hands down, out and back. See, it's kind of a quick pace, but it doesn't have to be. You could always change that. So it's just a lateral movement for the knees. And I kind of like this, the strength aspect for our arms. Okay, let's walk. Walk, 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 walk. Now, holding on to the chair, I just thought of this, so I guess I do need, the leg that's near the chair is the moving leg. That doesn't happen often. It's a straight arm up, and we're going to try to touch that toe. Both arms, both limbs are straight. Arm and leg, I'm pairing those limbs. Last time. Arms come back to neutral. Walk, 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 walk. One more time with our side step. And when we come back to our neutral position, that moving leg is taking a step back. See how I'm not trying to line them up like I'm on a balance beam. It's just step back, hips distance apart. So check that out. It's much more stable. Get some space between there. And let's bend into the knee that's near the chair. Hip headlights straight forward. Shoulders and hips are in line. Let's put our mitten hands on and come into warrior one. Full breath in and out. Lift your chest. You can always have your hand on your chair. You're still doing it. And you can feel that maybe that's just the security you needed. Beautiful. Let's get the arms down. Let's get the feet together. And as you might just turn and face a different way, but I, of course, have to move my chair. So here we are. Side two, walking. Arms and legs. Walk, 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 walk. The pace is yours. Keep walking. Okay, both feet together. Take our side step and down. Strong arms. Notice your breath. Just don't, oh yeah, the breathing. Yes, yes. Last one. We're walking. Walk, 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 walk. All right, stand still for a minute. Hand on the chair. That's the leg near the chair is the moving leg. Touch the toe or touch some part of your leg. It's right out in front of you. Find how you can do it with how the breathing is, your pace. Remember, this is all so easily modified, more or less a bent knee, not quite a big of extension of your arm. All things could be modified. Last time, relax your arms. Walk, 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 walk. Side step. Beautiful. Now we're going to set up for warrior one. So we're going to take that moving leg back. Remember, you want to make sure you have distance. You're not on a balance beam. So that back foot, is in line with your distance of your hips. There you go. And then we bend into the front knee. That back foot should be down. The heel should be down, or you just shorten your step so you can do it that way. Not such a big step. Put your mitten hands on. Let's find our warrior expression. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. You can do quite a back bend with these poses. Beautiful job. Let's bring our arms down and get our legs back together. Shake that out like we did at the beginning. Shake it out. Let's try an L-shaped stretch and extended forward fold. So that's the one where we are at the back of the chair and we extend that out, flattening the back, trying to work on straightening the knees. The more we practice this, the more able we are to stretch through the calves and the hamstrings in a way that there's no longer a bend in the knee. Make sure you can feel the imprint of your foot on your toes as well as your heels. That kind of brings you forward in this position a little more than you might have been comfortable with before, but try it that you're more aware this time that you're relying on your toes just as much as your heels to support you. When we come out of it, we're walking toward the chair because we're going to use it. When we come into our standing position, we've got the chair right there. We're going to take a wide stance. So maybe a little wider than the legs of your chair. Heels in, toes out. So we can be supported in a squat. We can kind of walk ourselves down as we squat our bottom down into that, stretching through the knees and into the thighs, the quads. Now remember, if you're feeling pain in your knees, then you're just going to skip it. If you're not able to adjust something so that there's no pain in your knees, well, then you don't do it. If you can adjust it, well, great. Bringing your body weight way back in toward your heels back there so it pulls it away from your knees is a good solution, but it's not available to everybody. Hold the squat. If you're able to do that, hold the squat. Tailbone is dropping down. You're trying to lengthen through your spine. Deepen the breath. Scoot that butt back or just climb up. Hand on the thighs. Bring yourself up. Wait. Stand and wait. Deepen your breath. If there's a pose your body still is craving, this is your time to take care of business here and give yourself anything you particularly need. Otherwise, the rest of us are setting up for Shavasana. So some of you are grabbing a second chair and setting yourself up to prop yourself into a more reclined position. Maybe you move into a sofa or a recliner at home. Get a drink of water. I really encourage you at this juncture. If you've got it handy, take a drink of water. We were moving. And I'm sure you don't need me to encourage you to sit back into your chair and let the chair support you. So we've got a couple minutes just dedicated to this transition. So you can get any props you might need for yourself to be comfortable in your particular space. But try to stay with me mentally, even though you're kind of tending to yourself and kind of doing some moving around. Keep your mind right here with your heart so that you don't lose the focus that we have put together so far. You're still very much aware of your practice. And I've shared with you a number of times that my favorite method for meditation is called the Vishoka meditation process. And I'm going to lead you through it. It can be done very beautifully as a guided meditation. So that's what we'll use today, the Vishoka meditation technique. So eyes are closed and you're aware of your breathing. You can feel your breath and how your body moves while you breathe. I'm going to sit off camera. So just in case you open your eyes and think, what happened here? It's just me moving. No problem. So Vishoka meditation is a point-to-point body reference as a technique to stay focused on the moment that you're in and feeling and experiencing this very moment as a felt experience, an experience almost of the space that you occupy, as well as the body that you occupy. So we're going to start by bringing awareness of our breath into the center of our forehead. So it's not like on the surface, right, where you could touch it. It's deep within your head, but it's located there, kind of in the center of your forehead and space. So you're breathing both in and out there, just to bring awareness to that point. It's awareness that's there. Of course, you're still feeling your breath move in the lungs, how the belly will still move. Of course, that's still present, but your awareness about your breath is centrally focused in the space between your eye, the center of your forehead, I should say, but right in the center of your head, not at the surface of the forehead. So on your next inhale there at the center of the forehead, extend your exhale down through the spine all the way to the base or root of the body. And then the inhale starts at the root of the body and brings up through the spine back to the center of the forehead. So we've united those two spaces in the body, center of the forehead, and then we exhale down through the spine, through the central channel, and we're at the root. So our connecting points are the root of the body and the center of the forehead. Stay with that. Letting your body awareness be focused in that way. If you find your mind has wandered, it's no problem. You don't need to make a problem, but just maybe you take a deeper breath, settle in, back you are, right through the movement, through the central channel. Finding your inhale at the center of the head, the center of the forehead, let's let the exhale drop just to the point of the navel. Inhaling from the navel up to the center of the forehead, back to the navel. Just references of the body, same consistent flow, up and down. So you have a new awareness in the body of your navel area. Loving awareness. And remember, even though the point to point reference is shorter, the breath can still be full. Next time that inhale is at the center of the forehead, the exhale is going to drop just to the base of the throat. Inhale, center of the forehead. Exhale down to the base of the throat. Still a full breath. Just a little shorter space to work with, to be mindfully aware of. But it's a full breath in and a full breath out. Relax your mouth, relax your facial muscles. Breathe from the center of the forehead to the base of the throat and back to the center of the forehead. A few more breaths, just a few. The next inhalation at the center of the forehead, the exhale is simply down through the nose to the tip of your nose and back up to the center of the forehead. So it's very much right there in a small space of the head. Tip of the nose to the center of the forehead. Breathing in and out. The next inhale at the center of the head is going to drop not only to the tip of the nose, but where your breath exceeds through your body, right out past your body. There's a space where the breath ends called the 0 point. Let's breathe there from the 0 point back to the center of the head, from the center of the head down through the nostrils to the 0 point, like where the breath would come out of your nose into that space. So we become aware of the space around us by making this conscious contact with the 0 point while we breathe. Now let your breath return to its normal breath. Beautiful job, everybody. Let's take a big breath in through the nose and exhale it out of your mouth with a sigh. Start to make your subtle adjustments as you breathe in that cleansing way that you're very familiar with, the sigh of the breath. We need to introduce more movement back into the body so we can transition out of our class time. Feet are back on the floor. We're holding ourselves upright again in place of right alignment of the spine. there's any movement your body needs, shrug of the shoulder, moving through your head, be sure to just add it naturally. You don't need, you don't need my permission, of course. Okay, let's sync up our breath. Inhale, palms together overhead. Look up. Exhale, bow at your own heart. Inhale back up. And exhale, we take this big sweeping action, and with it, we share with our community the blessings and the peacefulness of this practice today. Share that with our community. Hands come back to the prayer position. We bow to ourselves and we bow to one another. Namaste, my friends, and thanks for joining me.